watching ESPN on ABC, home of the 2010 Rose Bowl game and the City BCS National Championship game.
Today in Columbus, Ohio State hosts a showdown for the Big Ten title and an automatic BCS Bowl berth against an Iowa team led by an unfamiliar face. 19-year-old freshman quarterback James Vandenberg makes his first career start against the defense that has brutalized opposing offenses. The Silver Bullet Day is led by defensive end Cameron Hayward, an emerging star hoping to help Ohio State hoist its 5th consecutive Big Ten flag. Spectacular day in Ohio's capital city, an unseasonably warm 66 degrees as we approach the kickoff of the biggest Big Ten game of the season between Iowa and Ohio State. The winner of this game will earn the first BCS Bowl bid to be handed out this season. It's the automatic bid that goes to the Big Ten champ. Iowa and Ohio State tied atop the conference with one loss apiece. Only one game remaining for each after today. There is the possibility of a 2-, 3-, or 4-way tie, but the winner of this game would own all of the tiebreakers. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough along with Matt Millen. We'll be joined in just a moment by Holly Rowe. Delighted to have you with us. The winner of this one, in all likelihood, headed to the Rose Bowl to take on the Pac-10 champ. So, Matt, it's clearly one of the big games in the history of Iowa football. They are 9-1, suffered their first loss last week. They lost to Northwestern and lost their quarterback, Ricky Stanzi, to an ankle injury. So here comes James Vandenberg, ready to make his ho-hum first start.
Hey, a walk in the park for James Vandenberg, who's only 19 years old. But here's the good news for Iowa fans. He has skills. He has a big arm. He can move in and out of the pocket. He sees the field pretty well. His lack of experience is the only downside. And he's going to need some help, though, Sean. He's got to have help. And if he's going to have it, it's going to happen from another freshman, 18-year-old Brandon Weger, the running back, who, again, he has a skill set. He's just been unproven. All that being said, it's going to come down to an Iowa defense that's kept them in the games all year long.
Meanwhile, it's an Ohio State team playing its best football of the year. As usual, dominant defense, and they're starting to play mistake-free football on offense.
And you just said it. That is the key. Terrell Pryor last week probably had his most complete game against Ohio State. He did exactly what they brought him here to do. He used his feet when he had to buy time. He picked up key first down. He threw the ball to the open receiver. Didn't take any chances, didn't force it, and most importantly, did not turn the ball over. And when you do that, you allow that dominant defense to take hold, and really you start talking about potential All-American Cameron Hayward, who last week just put on a complete show.
He and that Silver Bullet defense dominated Penn State in Happy Valley last week. The Buckeyes take the field for the showdown with Iowa. The opening kickoff from Columbus right after this.
Competition is cool, but I'll be on the big names. Ain't got time for playground games. Competition is cool, but I'll be on the big names. Ain't got time for big names. Competition is cool, but I'll be on the big names. Ain't got time for playground games. Competition is cool, but I'll be on the big names.
And we welcome you back to the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium, for the 62nd meeting all-time between these two schools, a rivalry that began back in 1922. Ohio State has won 10 of the last 11, and the Hawkeyes haven't won here in Columbus since 1991. Down on the field, here's Holly Rowe.
You talked about earlier that James Vandenberg needs some help for Iowa. Unfortunately, their starting running back, Brandon Weger, did not join the team on the field for pregame warmups. He came out very late with some medical personnel surrounding him. He is complaining about, looks like, pain to his left side of his abdomen. Now, they don't give out injury updates, but I've kind of figured out, I believe it's either his ribs or the flu, which has been going through the team. Guys, this really hurts them because they're already down to the 4th-string running back. Good news, Adam Robinson will be eligible to return today. He's been out 2 games with a high ankle sprain. That helps a lot because he's averaging nearly 5 yards per carry, guys.
Well, it has been an amazing string of injuries on offense all season long for Iowa. Remarkable that they're 9-1 given the obstacles they've had to overcome, particularly on offense. The Hawkeyes won the toss and deferred, so Daniel Murray kicks off for the Hawkeyes clad in white. And Ray Small will run it back for Ohio State. And he was tripped up at the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Christian Ballard. Ohio State off its first turnover-free game of the season last week. Their 24-7 win at Penn State was really a vintage Jim Tressel performance. Relatively conservative, mistake-free football, dominating defense, timely special teams plays, and it all resulted in a win for Terrell Pryor back in his home state of Pennsylvania. Sophomore from Jeanette, PA, their leading rusher and passer this season. Facing a stout Iowa defense today, averaging less than 16 points per game. Pryor out throwing in the flat, and Jake Ballard, the tight end, chopped down immediately by Brent Greenwood. That is one bit of good news. Brett is back this week for Iowa after missing last week's game at home, the loss to Northwestern. He had a neck injury.
Well, when you look at this Iowa defense, you've got to have all your guns today, because they're going to rely completely on this defense to give them field position and also to take away this Ohio State offense, but most importantly, create turnovers. They've got to get turnovers.
Pryor, the inside handoff to Brandon Sane, and he's down at the 27, tackled by Adrian Claiborne. Interesting, Matt, right off the bat, Iowa won the toss and deferred, and that's highly unusual. Since Kirk Ferentz has been their head coach, this is his 11th season, they have started the game on offense 113 times in his 133 games, so he likes to get the ball and go. But with the new quarterback today, maybe get that strong defense out there first.
Yeah, that's exactly. You don't want to take a young quarterback on the road in his first start and say, here, go ahead and win it by yourself. Let him get his feet on the ground first.
3rd down and 3. Pryor out of the gun, swings it out in the flat for Sane, and he will not get the first down. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. They have excellent linebackers, and it was A.J. Eads leading the defense, the senior from Greenwood, Indiana, with help from Pat Anger, the middle linebacker.
Just good defense, and that's exactly what we talked about. They're going to have to play good, disciplined defense, keep everything in front of them, and not give up any big plays, which they don't do. And then again, try to create the turnover. That will be their key.
Exactly what Kirk Ferentz wanted to have happen when he deferred. John Toma punts, a fair catch signaled by Colin Sandeman. He's just back in action after missing the last 2 games with a concussion. And the Hawkeyes will begin at the 25-yard line, led by James Vandenberg, redshirt freshman from Keokuk, Iowa, town of 11,000 and change on the Mississippi River south of Iowa City. Prolific passer in high school as he led Keokuk to a state title. Threw for nearly 8,000 yards in high school. But he was accustomed on a good Friday night to playing in front of 3,000 or so fans. He's playing in front of 100,000 plus today. With the conference championship and a Rose Bowl bid at stake, he stumbled on the handoff to Adam Robinson, and then Adam stumbled and lost 2.
Not the kind of start you're looking for out of your young freshman. And that's okay. The bottom line here is they've got to get them settled first. Just calm down, get your feet on you, and then you realize as a young player, hey, this is just like you do in practice. And once that happens and all the scene goes away, then you can focus.
Kirk Ferentz knew that Vandenberg would be nervous. James has admitted that he did play more than half the game last week against Northwestern. Textbook Iowa play there. The fake to a rollout pass and a completion for Vandenberg to Trey Strauss. Vandenberg struggled, as you see, with those numbers against Northwestern last week. In fact, they crossed midfield only once in the 2.5 quarters that he played.
Yeah, but now he's got a whole week. He had a whole week to prepare, to get his mind right, to get a little bit used to it, to run with the first team, all those things. And Ricky Stanza, who you see there, is helping him, trying to talk him through a lot of things. There's a lot of good stuff that's happened for Vandenberg all week, and he still has a good skill set.
3rd down and 7. He zings one. What a throw by Vandenberg. Not looking the least bit nervous. Stanzi fired up. Darrell Johnson-Koulianos the catch. 12 yards. First down. The coaches said he has a strong arm and he's accurate, and he displayed both there.
And there's the key right there. See that happy face? That's because they had a very good protection. And Stanzi likes what he sees because he knows. He's seen the kid in practice all year long. He knows what he's capable of doing, and that's just a precursor.
Ricky Stanzi, an Ohio native back in his home state, had ankle surgery earlier in the week. Another good throw by Vandenberg, and the catch by Alan Reisner, their second tight end. Devon Torrance made the tackle, and Vandenberg is out of the gate 3 for 3 today.
And so if you're the Iowa Hawkeyes and you're looking at this offense, you say, okay, what do we have to do? We can't let them get pressure. What do we have? We have a strong arm in Vandenberg, and we also have some good wheels. So you take it and you use it, and you start moving them out of the pocket, and you start to roll and start to work the edges, and it takes away a little bit of the rush.
Vandenberg keeps on second down and a yard, and he gets the first down. Kirk Ferentz was very confident in James Vandenberg. He said, I've been around the Iowa program a long time, 20 years, back to being an assistant with Hayden Fry, and now 11 years as the head coach. Said a lot of good players just give off a vibe. Chuck Long gave it off. Matt Rogers gave it off. And Vandenberg is one of those guys. You just feel as you're around him that he's in control of his circumstances and he's going to perform well. An impressive start for Vandenberg. He has the Hawkeyes across midfield. And Adam Robinson stuffed Ross Holman.
Here's a hot tip. Always block everybody before you run the play. Just a mistake on the inside. Ross Holman's just going to come free. They just completely forget to block him, and that usually doesn't bode well for opposing runners. You know, Sean, to go back with what you said, Kirk Ferentz, see, we have all this talk on the periphery. Kirk Ferentz knows his team, and he knows this kid. He's with them week in and week out. And so when he starts talking about some guys have a feel, that's a great sign.
And they're going to have to throw it. They have not run the ball well this year, the Hawkeyes. Adam Robinson gets back to the Ohio State 48, perhaps even the 47. Cameron Hayward made the tackle. But Iowa, with the injuries at running back all year long, has rushed for just 119 yards per game. That's 9th in the Big Ten and 94th in the country. They've been a throwing team this year with Stanzi and now with Vandenberg.
And if they're going to even think about running, they're going to have to handle a defensive front with Ohio State that has really come into its own. And really, we talked on the front end, what is led by Cameron Hayward, who really he's picked up his game.
Third down and 10. They give Vandenberg time. He throws on the run short. Good move after the catch by Marvin McNutt, but he's short of the first down at the 42-yard line, tackled by Lawrence Wilson. About 4 yards short of the first down. They'll punt, but Kirk Ferentz has to be very pleased with that start for Vandenberg.
Oh, no, you come to the sideline right now, Sean, and you're going, hey, we're going to be okay. We said we got to get ourselves calmed down. They did exactly that. So what Ferentz does in the front end, you defer, you let the game kind of settle in, let your quarterback get a feel, mission accomplished.
They have one of the best punters in the country in Ryan Donahue. Coach Ferentz believes he has an NFL future. Hangs it up high. Small, let it bounce. It took an Ohio State bounce. And is down near the 11-yard line. Timeout, no score. Just underway in Columbus.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Great venues in American sport, the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium in Columbus. Final home game of this season for the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're trying to win their 5th straight Big Ten Conference Championship. No score with Iowa. The Hawkeyes also playing for the Big Ten title today. Terrell Pryor. They went 3 and out on offense on their first possession. Design rollout after a fake. Nowhere to throw it. And it's incomplete. Intended for Dane Sonsenbacher, the junior wide receiver from Toledo.
Well, that's outstanding coverage defensively for Iowa, but they weren't able to get pressure up front. And so what they did, Ohio State is going to move the pocket. Terrell Pryor is actually, he's very comfortable moving. But when they do sit in the pocket and they do want to run the football, here's the good news for Ohio State. Last week, I thought that was a great job of their offensive line in establishing the run, and they got stronger as the game got stronger.
With the good play in recent weeks by the line, they've been running the ball very well. Over 200 yards rushing in each of the last 3 games for Ohio State. Tough sledding there for Brandon Sane, but he bounced ahead to the 17-yard line. Picked up 4. Sean Prater, the cornerback, made the stop. And it'll be another 3rd down for Ohio State. 3rd and 6.
Now is the down to get pressure. You get yourself pressure, and that puts pressure on the tackles. And the 2 tackles right there, Marcus Hall, 79, you see on the top of your screen, and Cordell down here, 64, on the bottom of your screen. Those are the 2 guys who've really kind of settled into the front. Shugarts is hurt and could be coming in just to see in a backup role.
Cordell head-to-head with Adrian Claiborne, one of the best defensive ends in the country. Pryor forced to step up. He can run. He's tripped up. And they're going to mark it, it appears, with 1st down yardage across that 23-yard line. They'll give him the 24 and a 1st down. Christian Ballard tripped him up.
You know, we had the privilege last week of calling the Penn State-Ohio State game, and what we really saw in this quarterback was his ability to move, and he's so smooth, Sean. It's one of those guys that doesn't look like he's really going anywhere, and then all of a sudden, there's separation. He's really tough with angles, and he's just as tough just straight ahead.
He's 6'6", 235 pounds with outstanding speed. Throws it out wide. DeVere Posey, and a good tackle in space by Sean Prater. Here's Matt Weiner in New York.
Thanks very much. I'll be here throughout the game with your headlines and highlights from across the country. Let's start with this Taco Bell update. Number 6 Boise State at home on the blue turf and against an improved Idaho team, but it's Kellen Moore to Austin Pettis. 28 touchdown pass the season for Moore. 8-0 there after the 2-pointer. And Tim Tebow's first pass of the day is a touchdown. Number 1 leads at South Carolina.
All right, Matt, thank you. Here there's no score. After a 2-year pass to DeVere Posey, here's Terrell Pryor again. And that one's off target. Brett Greenwood had the coverage on Posey. That is a dangerous throw against an Iowa team that leads the country in interceptions with 19.
And you're exactly right. And they're good in the back 7. And here's what I see. You know, that's what I've noticed in college football. College football, really, in the back 7, the linebackers in the secondary, that's where you see the most breakdowns. Generally, because they're in allowance, and zones require a lot of time and feel, and with the 20-hour rule, you just don't get it. This, however, is a disciplined back 7.
6 minutes to go in the quarter. 3rd down and 8. Pryor gets away from Claiborne. Still alive and goes out of bounds at the 31, 3 yards short of the 1st down. Most other quarterbacks would have been tackled for a loss. He turned it into a 5-yard gain, but still they'll have to punt.
Well, it's been said about his running abilities. As you see, Claiborne misses him on the front end, and then comes Ballard. He takes a shot. There's another miss, and then here comes the 3rd with another miss with Eads, and then he's forced out of bounds. It's been said of Terrell Pryor that he's the best athlete in the whole Big Ten. And that's saying a lot.
There's some pretty good athletes in this conference. John Toma, senior, playing in his final home game, pops it straight up in the air. And Colin Sandeman came flying up to catch that very short punt near the 45-yard line. Timeout. Back in a moment.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Presented by Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Pacific Life, for insurance, annuities, and investments. Choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Bud Light, with the just right taste that's not too heavy, not too light. The difference is drinkability.
Well, that cake got Matt Millen's attention, not because he's immodest. His picture is atop the cake.
Get rid of that.
The Ohio Stadium cake has been constructed annually since 1991. The cake you saw, this year's version, weighs more than 200 pounds.
All I want is a bite of the 50-yard line. Just give me one chomp of that and I'll be in good shape.
This year's cake, 261 eggs, 126 pounds of powdered sugar, 3 gallons of milk and vegetable oil. Sounds yummy.
Well, sounds like a cholesterol slider.
They were not too far away from a fine medical center.
Exactly.
After a 26-yard punt, Iowa takes over at its own 43-yard line. James Vandenberg, the redshirt freshman, handed it off to Adam Robinson, and he's driven back by Austin Spittler, one of the team captains for Ohio State, another of the 19 seniors playing in his last home game, and matched up today with James Vandenberg, the son of Keokuk, Iowa, and from a football family. His grandfather played at Southern Arkansas. His dad, Toby, who's now an emergency room doctor, played at Missouri Western. Jim was the longtime high school coach at Keokuk. James, the state player of the year in 2007. He owns 12 of Iowa State passing records. A nicely set up screen. Adam Robinson across midfield to the Ohio State 49. 2 yards short of the first down. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, I watched James Vandenberg carefully in pregame, and all I could say was he was quiet and intense. He did some nervous hand stuff, though, you know, where they're constantly wiping their hands on their pants, constantly blowing on their hands, so maybe a little bit of sweaty palms. But on the sideline, he's been in great conversation with Ricky Stanzi and Ken O'Keefe, his offensive coordinator, back and forth, asking questions, making sure the receivers run the right routes, and he's sitting right next to the receivers every play, so they're on the same page.
Talking to Stanzi is the most important part. He's been there just like 20 seconds ago. He knows what to tell him.
Vandenberg has single coverage, and the receiver is taken down. Chimney Chekwa got tangled up with Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, and the Hawkeyes believe that's a flag going against the Buckeye secondary.
Pass interference, number 5, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
That's a pretty good throw there, Sean. That's supposed to be a back shoulder, and then Chekwa gets high up on it. You're going to watch this. Watch Koulianos is going to try to come back. He gets a little too high and comes back, puts the hand to the chest. They're going to throw that.
Ricky Stanzi and Vandenberg watched film together this week. There's some talk Ricky might go up to the press box, the coach's booth, once the game started. But he, as you can see, is down there trying to help Vandenberg. He has been remarkably poised so far. On first down, another good throw.
I'll tell you what, Sean, right there, that kid, to this point, you can't tell me he's a freshman. You can't tell me he's 19. That's some good stuff. Now, lost in all that good stuff talk, his offensive line is blocking their rear end zone. That is an accomplished defensive front, and they're taking them on straight up.
Yeah, that's one of the staples, one of the traditions of Iowa football under Hayden Fry and Kirk Ferentz. Outstanding offensive line play. Jim Haycock, the Ohio State defensive coordinator, was raving about this Iowa offensive line. The completion to Trey Strauss got them 6. Now Robinson through a hole created by that line. Knocked down at the 14-yard line. Gain of 14, first down Iowa.
You're not going to run unless you handle one guy. Watch this. 97. Watch 77. That's Reef. He's just a freshman. That's a fantastic job of getting on him. Now stay with him. Push, push, push. Stay on. Really well done. 14 yards and a big first down for the Hawkeyes.
You said 14 yards.
Right.
How good has Ohio State been against the run? They haven't allowed a rush of more than 9 yards by a running back since the second game of the year. That's against USC. 245 rushes by a running back without a run longer than 9 before that one. Robinson smothered. A loss of a yard back to the 15. Austin Spittler and Thaddeus Gibson combining on the play. Spittler lost his helmet.
I think they heard you. I think that just tipped them off. But this defense, yeah, this is one of the best defenses we have seen. Why? Well, because up front they're dominant. They're able to hold the point. They run to the football very well. They keep good discipline in the back seven, keep things in front of them. They don't give up a lot of big plays. Most importantly, they create turnovers.
Robinson just back in action after missing a couple of games with the high ankle sprain, trying to run against the stout Ohio State defense, and that was the third time he's been dropped for a loss already. Vandenberg on target. Robinson out of the backfield down to the 9-yard line. Chimdi Chekwa made the tackle. James Vandenberg was 9 for 27 last week at home against Northwestern. He is 7 for 7 today. Ricky who? Against these Ohio State Buckeyes.
And that guy, Stanzi right there, he's his biggest cheerleader. And he's probably his best coach, because you got to go to somebody. I can't underestimate or underemphasize that. Stanzi's probably the guy who he can go to. He can talk to him in player language, and they get it.
3 wide receivers. Brett Morse, a fullback, the only running back. And a flag down. Todd Gearlings is the referee leading this Big Ten crew.
False start, 63. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Julian Vandervelde, the guard, one of those veterans on the offensive line for Coach Ferentz, the former line coach. Vandervelde is making his 22nd career start.
You know, you mentioned about under Hayden Fry, and then also now with Kirk Ferentz. This offensive line, as you look at Ken O'Keefe, he knows what he has. And what he has is a physical group. And they're meeting toughness with Ohio State.
Third down and 11. Design rollout for Vandenberg. Throws to the end zone. Incomplete. Looking for Strauss, who is covered by Anderson Russell, the safety, 5th-year senior out of Atlanta.
Ken O'Keefe dials this up perfectly. This is the right call. Get him on the edge. They had pressure coming from the inside. Look at this throw. That's got to be caught. I mean, this kid's playing lights out. I know it's only a quarter, but this kid is playing better than anybody could have hoped.
Should have been 6. The veteran Strauss, senior back in his home state of Ohio. He's from Avon Lake. Dropped it. 32-yard field goal try by Daniel Murray. And it is good. Iowa, a 17-point underdog. First on the board today. Under a minute to go. First quarter. It's 3-0 Hawkeyes. The winner of this game guaranteed at least a share of the Big Ten title and guaranteed the automatic bid out of the Big Ten to a BCS bowl game, almost certainly to be the Rose Bowl. Iowa leads 3-0 after a Daniel Murray field goal. James Vandenberg is 7 out of 8 passing. Freshman quarterback's only incompletion, a drop ball in the end zone by Trey Strauss on a perfectly thrown strike by Vandenberg. Murray's kickoff down to the 5 to Ray Small. Flag thrown from way up near the middle of the field. And that might be coming back for a blocking infraction. It was a nice return by Small out near the 33-yard line. Jeff Tarpini, and a backup linebacker, made the tackle for the Hawkeyes.
Holding, 34. Receiving team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Nate Ebner called for the hold. Tonight at 8 Eastern on ABC Saturday Night Football. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish trying to bounce back from their loss to Navy as they head to Pittsburgh to face the 8-1 Pittsburgh Panthers, ranked number 12 in the BCS this week. Some of you will see Texas Tech at 19th ranked Oklahoma State. Tonight, Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern time on ABC. To find out the game in your area, go to ESPN.com and search maps.
What a fantastic job Dave Wannstedt's done there in Pittsburgh. He put together a couple of good recruiting classes. They're playing good, solid football. That's going to be a fun game tonight. See what he does against Clawson. I know he'll dial up a couple zone blitzes that you haven't seen before.
Pitt off to its best start since 1982. Terrell Pryor starts this series under center. Dan Herron, better known as Boom here in the Buckeye State, carried to the 19. Got about 4. Pat Anger, the middle linebacker, senior from Bettendorf, Iowa, made the tackle. Told us last year he was a soccer player in high school. It was a spring sport, so he could play both, but had a problem with those red cards. Occasionally, with that football mentality, has to leave the pitch.
Yeah, well, you might have to, if you're going to run well on this defense, you're going to have to manage him, so you might have a little
anger management. Thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
Yes, including waiters and waitresses. Herron, a yard, and that's all. And this Iowa defense has shut down the Buckeye offense through one quarter. Just one first down in the first 15 minutes for the Buckeyes. Vandenberg and the Hawkeyes leading 3-0. And we welcome you back to the Horseshoe, Ohio Stadium, Columbus, Ohio. Heading to the second quarter, Sean McDonough with Matt Millen and Holly Rowe. Iowa leads 3-0. Ohio State, third down and 5. Terrell Pryor throws, and it is caught for a first down by Dane Sonsenbacher. Got Anger right there to make the tackle, but Sonsenbacher alertly got just enough yardage to move the chains. We take a look now at our Pacific Life game summary. It was a first quarter dominated by Iowa. They had 9.5 minutes of possession time and a better than 2-to-1 edge in total yardage.
Well, they couldn't have scripted a better first quarter, Sean. That's exactly how they wanted to start.
Only thing that would have been better for them is if Strauss had caught that perfectly thrown ball in the end zone. Jeremiah Hunter takes down Boone Herron, but it's a 6-yard gain for the sophomore from Warren, Ohio, who's been bothered by an ankle injury much of the season. They figured he'd be the feature back this year with the departure of Beanie Wells to the NFL, but injuries have slowed him down.
Yeah, and he's last week he got a little taste and kind of messed it up a little bit more, but looks like he's getting off the ball really well here.
And again, refusing to go down, and the crowd loves it. Why wouldn't they? Tremendous effort across the 40-yard line, dragging Pat Anger and others with him. First down, Ohio State.
And well done by the inside of that Ohio State offensive line. 65 Bourne, 50 Brewster, 70 Browning, and then just drive your legs and get a good push. You see Shugarts there pushing. That's good, just great team effort there.
On first and 10, Herron bouncing to the left. And down at the 45, 4 more for Herron. Adrian Claiborne made the tackle.
You know, if you listen to Game Day today, you heard the guys talking about how physical both defenses are. But then they also talked about how the offensive line of Ohio State has progressed. In fact, Kirk Herbstreit said this probably last week was the best that he's seen them play probably all season. And you speaking with Chris Spielman said the exact same thing. And you can see it right there. They're coming off the ball. They're staying low. It's good power.
Clearly trying to establish the run on this possession. 5 carries on this drive, and now 6 for Herron. More power football from Ohio State, and the first down to the Iowa 48. Jeremiah Hunter made the tackle, the outside linebacker junior from York, Pennsylvania.
Now watch Boone Herron. There's a point here. It's called the runner's point of patience. Right behind Browning right there. Make a decision. Do you jump inside or handle it outside? And at that point, he felt like the end was inside, so he bounced it and picked up the first.
Formation football now for the Buckeyes. Trying to pound it on the ground. And Herron chopped down after a gain of 1 by Broderick Binns. Help from Christian Ballard. Jim Tressel, 9th year as Ohio State's head coach. He also calls the plays. Trying to make it 5 straight Big Ten titles. That would be the most in a row for a Big Ten team since the early 70s when Ohio State won 6 in a row.
Under the great Woody Hayes. 2 of the best run programs in college football. Their head coaches are here today.
A lot of similarities. I believe in kind of an old-fashioned fundamental approach to football. Brandon Sane wrapped up by Carl Klug, junior from Caledonia, Minnesota, which is just across the Iowa border, the north border of Iowa, into the great state of Minnesota.
What this defense does very well, Sean, and they can be physical, but when they're most effective is when they get to moving. They run a lot of stunts. I mean, you put the tape on and you start to see a lot of exits, Texas, tackles inside, ends moving inside. Norm Parker, he's been the master of that for years.
It's one of the many similarities, great continuity on both coaching staffs. Parker's been with Ferentz his entire tenure in Iowa City. Pryor, good throw and a catch for a first down to the 31. DeVere Posey, their leading wide receiver. Good for a 15-yard gain.
That's a nice read right there by Terrell Pryor. And Eads, watch, 49, see him right under there. What does he do? You come up, I throw over the top. That's exactly what he did. Got his eyes on the right guy, has a flood control out underneath. Eads jumps up, he throws behind, big first down. High-low.
Awkward looking handoff to Brandon Sane. Pryor had to reach to give it to him. Sane got 4. We sent it back to Matt Weiner.
All right, John, here's a Verizon Wireless update on #1 Florida. We showed you Tim Tebow's touchdown pass to make it 7-0. South Carolina responds with a 14-play drive. Maddox punches it in there. Meanwhile, USC has turned it over twice. Both led to Stanford touchdowns, and the Cardinal lead 14-0 in L.A.
Oh,
my goodness.
Jim Harbaugh is serving notice that he has himself a pretty good team.
Movement along the line of scrimmage. Whistles and flags stop the play. Referee Todd Geerling seemed to be indicating that he thought it was against Ohio State, but now the line judge Dave Chesney
Ball
involved.
start, 44, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains second down.
And Zach Bourne, the true freshman fullback who really impressed you last week at Penn State.
He is easy to like. Man, that guy showed up with a bad attitude last week, and he wanted to prove he was the toughest guy in the field. He did. He went after those Penn State linebackers and was very physical. He's the brother. There's his big brother down there. Says, you be good or I'll run right into your back.
Justin Bourne, the starting guard, transfer from Michigan. Of course, they play Michigan next week. Terrell Pryor all day to throw. Settles for the check down in the flat to Brandon Sane. He fights for every inch and got knocked out at the 23. Short of the first down, but again, the crowd appreciates that effort by Sane. Stayed in bounds, took the pounding, and got a gain of 8. Aerial coverage of today's game provided by Goodyear. New Goodyear Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas.
You see how nice that Fuel Max thing was, that full? See how that's exactly how that Ohio State offensive line was, because they gave him tons of time to throw. A nice arc inside to step and throw.
And it's in the flat again to Sane. First down. Good decision by Pryor. Amari Spivey tripped up Sane. Methodical Ohio State drive. 9 minutes to go. First half, they're down 3-0, but on the move. 13 plays already on this drive.
Here you go again. Look at that. Nice, happy protection right there. He's able to just step and throw very easily. This is exactly how Jim Tressel wants to win football games. Pound the football. Low percent, high percentage throws, not take chances, control, play good defense.
I'm glad you explained that, because I thought you were saying that line was a bunch of blimps. Dan Herron lines up now in their version of the Wildcat formation. And he goes to the 15-yard line. It's interesting that they run this. Remember when we were here for the Wisconsin game earlier in the season, and Jim Tressel was telling us about a caller to his radio show who asked him, why don't you run the Wildcat? And he said, because we think our cat can run wild. The quarterback, Terrell Pryor. But he has adopted to the Wildcat in recent weeks with Herron.
And that's good coaching. I mean, that's what you do, because it's just all about numbers in the run game.
2nd and 7. Pryor back under center, gave it to Herron. Forced a weave for a hard-earned couple. Tackled by Sean Prater. Pat Anger always near the ball.
Well, he is. I made a joke earlier, but that kid, he has great instinct. And when you look, there's some positions where you just have to have that feel. That sort of thing where you say, you know what, you can't teach that. He has that. He finds the ball very well. He shows up. He's very active. And he's pretty good discipline in his back 7 when he's in pass coverage.
Norm Parker says the idea is to tackle the guy with the ball, and Anger does that. They're 3 out of 3 on this drive on 3rd down. They're going to use a timeout with 3rd and 6 to come. First charge timeout against Jim Tressel's Buckeyes here in the first half. Midway through the 2nd quarter, 3-0 Iowa.
Buffalo Wild Wings presents the top 30 plays of the last 30 years. 13. In the 1983 championship game, a late touchdown gave #1 Nebraska a chance to tie and win the title. But Coach Tom Osborne decided to go for 2 and the win.
This is for the national championship for Nebraska.
The pass was broken up, and the Miami Hurricanes were crowned champions. Follow the top 30 countdown all season long. Brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings.
First of 5 national titles for Miami. Tune in tonight to ABC Saturday Night Football, 8 Eastern, when we'll reveal moment number 12. Big moment in this game. Ohio State driving down 3-0. 3rd down and 6. 16th play of the drive. They've been on the field for 8.5 minutes. They're at the Iowa 13. Hawkeyes showing blitz. They come on a blitz. Pryor is flushed. Running for his life. Throws it up for grabs. Far corner. Caught but out of bounds. DeVere Posey caught it. Brett Greenwood had the coverage, but it was well across the boundary. And they'll settle for a field goal after a drive that had only 1 play of longer than 9 yards.
Well, they brought pressure from the side. And Sean Prater, they brought the corner, and he inevitably is the one who forced the throw. It looked like he was trying to throw the ball away. But excellent job by the Iowa defense stopping him here when they had to.
There's Devin Barclay in his 2nd game as the starting kicker. Their outstanding senior kicker, Aaron Petrie, injured a knee against New Mexico State a couple of weeks ago. Barclay trying a 30-yarder, and it's right down the middle from the 26-year-old former professional soccer player. Tied at 3 midway through the 2nd quarter in Columbus.
College football presented by Kay Jewelers. Brought to you by Nissan Maxima, proud partner of the Heisman Trophy. Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And Gap, ready for holiday cheer. Gap.
Look inside Schmitz, a tradition here in Columbus dating back to the late 1800s.
I get down there sometimes, I just get full of Schmidt, I'll tell you. But
3-3 the score. Buckeye fans celebrating the Barkley field goal. He'll kick off. He's done a nice job stepping in for Aaron Petrie, who Mel Kiper Jr. rates the best senior place kicker in the country. Barkley now 3 out of 5 as the stand-in for Petrie. The reason for the delay is they took a few seconds off the clock. It was showing 7:06. Now it's at 7:01. Barkley to kick it away to Keenan Davis and Darrell Johnson-Koulianos. The winner of this game gets the automatic bid into a BCS bowl game out of the Big Ten. The winner will be at least the Big Ten Conference co-champion. Johnson-Koulianos, they're known as DJK in Iowa City, brought it out to the 26. Tackled by Adam Holman. Tomorrow at 2:30 Eastern on ABC, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues at Phoenix. Jimmy Johnson's wreck on the 3rd lap last week in Texas has reopened that door for Matt's favorite, Mark Martin, who's now just 73 points behind. Only 2 races to go as we look at the wreck from last week when Sam Cornish Jr. able to rub Jimmy Johnson, as our pal Chris Spielman would say, rubbin's racing. Johnson was able to drive his damaged car back to the garage. He spent about an hour in there. He returned to the track, but he finished 38th. So what looked like an insurmountable leading chase is now still pretty big, but not insurmountable.
not so fast. You know what's impressive, though? That thing went down all busted up and came back, and he was able to finish that thing. I mean, that's amazing, the work they do in the pits.
So that's tomorrow, the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup at Phoenix, presented by Goodyear, 2:30 Eastern on ABC. Sam Hornish, kind of the equivalent of a hockey goon there. Go out, go after the big guy, take him out. Bring everybody back into contention. James Vandenberg in this offense on the sideline a long time. Another vintage Iowa play. Another good throw by Vandenberg, and this time an incomplete pass. Strauss is not doing anything to help, and he's coming to the sideline.
And that's surprising. This is another outstanding throw. Right on the numbers. Hit you right in a bad place, the chest. And that's, you know, it's a well-run route. He comes back to the ball. It's a safe throw in the comeback. Got to catch the ball.
And that's what the coaches are telling him. Vandenberg has thrown only 2 incomplete passes, both of them dropped by Strauss. He's 7 out of 9 throwing now for 52 yards. Straight back this time, and that was deflected at the line of scrimmage. And there's a flag thrown in the secondary.
They're not afraid to throw the football here with Vandenberg. In fact, they're going to him here often, which I like.
Well, as we said earlier, they've struggled to run it all year. They thought Jewel Hampton was going to be their featured back. Sean Green left, went to the NFL with the New York Jets. But Hampton had a fine freshman season a year ago. Here's the call.
There's no foul on the play for offensive pass interference.
That was tipped.
The ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. We have an incomplete pass. 3rd down.
Take a look at Vandenberg. You see him, he's 1 for 3 a week ago. Right now, and you look, and Sean, 2 of those where it should have been completions, and the last one was tipped. So, I mean, he's having a great day.
He's played as well as Kirk Ferentz could have hoped, and probably even better.
I completely agree.
3rd down and 10. Four-man rush. Vandenberg time. Short throw. And Ross Holman leveled the fullback, Brett Morse. Short of the first down at the 32. About 4 yards shy of the marker.
That's good Ohio State defense and keeping everything in front of you. But I want you to watch Vandenberg right here. Eyes are down the field. Can't get what he wants, so he comes back and dumps it off. That's very good discipline with a young freshman. Nice hit.
There's Ryan Donahue on the punt. He's one of the 10 finalists for the Ray Guy Award last year as the best punter in the country, and this is very high. And Ray Small fields it by a fair catch at the 26-yard line. Tied at 3, 2nd quarter in Columbus. The winner of this game wins the Big Ten's automatic bid into a BCS bowl game, almost certain to be the Rose Bowl, and a game likely to be against the Pac-10 champion. It would be Iowa's first Rose Bowl since 1991 after the 1990 season. They lost to Washington in the Rose Bowl under Hayden Fry. And Herron on first down, tripped up by Carl Klug. Ball marked down to 29, gain of 3, 2nd and 7 for the Buckeyes.
Well done on the inside with Klug, and that's movement again. That's what we were talking about, Sean. They do a lot of times their inside tackles. They'll stunt, they'll cross inside, or they'll do it with their defensive ends. And anytime you start getting a guard pulling like Ohio State did on the last time, he's able to fill that void, come down and make the play.
Tough week last week for the Klugs. Carl has a twin brother, Kevin, who plays at Minnesota State in Division II, and his team suffered its first loss of the season last week against St. Cloud State. Herron again, about 1.5 yards short of the first down at the 35. Adrian Claiborne made the stop, the junior from St. Louis. That close, says Herron, to picking up that first down.
Watch the center, nice job. He's doing the unbalanced. See, Ballard's trying to square him up, and it becomes a battle of patience. And all you're trying to do is to wait to see which way that running back's going to go. And so he gets a little bit fake to the left, squares him up, and then is able to cut off Brewster and get that run.
3rd down and short, and Herron is driven back, but appears to have the necessary yardage to the 37 for a first down.
Yeah, see the official right up here. That's the guy you keep your eyes on. He's the one who always marks forward progress. See how his hand goes up like that? That's telling him upstairs to do the same thing. So he'll mark it. The hand will go up, and that's where forward progress stops. And watch again. It's just power on the inside. Bourne coming off. They're trying to handle that nose. Ooh, that's a great job on the nose tackle by Klug. He didn't bounce an inch. And the official will come in. He'll mark for progress. Hands goes up, and that's where it stops.
First and 10. Ohio State tied at 3, nearing 4 minutes to go in the half. Herron waited patiently, finally turned the corner, and advanced to the 40 for a pickup of 3. Today's Aflac trivia question. We want to know, what is the last school other than Ohio State or Michigan to win the Big Ten title outright? Big Ten titles, including 4 straight for Ohio State. They've won at least 10 games each of the previous 4 years. And insane rumbles to midfield. 13 yards. And a first down.
Sorry, you remember I talked to you about defense and running game is all numbers. The offense is too. You have 6 inside, and that's where you win. You win the numbers game. They had a 2 deep, and the other linebacker was walked off, so you had 6 on the inside, and then you just find your hole.
Their last possession, a long drive for Ohio State, nearly 9 minutes. I wanted a horse collar call there, and here comes the flag as Brandon Sane was yanked down by Adrian Claiborne.
I don't like that rule. I never did. That's tough for a defender.
Personal foul, horse collar, number 3 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, watch Adrian Claiborne. This is great effort. Comes down, shed the block, go right down. There's one thing to grab onto. I mean, you're just diving, you grab. So there's a great defensive effort right there, and you get a flag for it. How else are you supposed to tackle him?
I think you had him by the jersey and not the collar. Claiborne was born with Erb's palsy, a nerve condition that caused weakness in one arm. He's dealt with it his whole life. No problem with Pryor's arm there. A bullet to Small. And he's down with a first down at the 22. Here's Matt Weiner.
All right, John, Sports Center right now is presented by Sprint. Caleb Sturgis' 32-yard field goal has given #1 Florida the edge at South Carolina. It is 10-7 there. Meanwhile, Stanford continues to impress. Toby Gerhardt's 3-yard touchdown run as the Cardinal up 21-7. So what amounts to a Pac-10 championship elimination game today.
Remarkable season for Gerhardt and the Cardinal. Huge hole. Brandon Sane inside the 5. Down to the goal line. Touchdown, Ohio State.
Iowa brought pressure, brought the safety down inside, and Sane just used his eyes. Very well done. Saw the crack on the inside, got to the second level, took it to the house.
22 yards for Brandon Sane, the junior. Second rushing touchdown of the season. And Ohio State leads for the first time today. That's the 8th rushing touchdown given up by Iowa all year in 11 games. Devin Barclay the extra point. 74 yards in 8 plays. 2:04 to go in the half. A 7-point lead for Ohio State. Ohio State's offense starting to find a rhythm. Their first 2 possessions today, they had a total of 25 yards. Of last 2 possessions, 137 yards and 10 points. And that has the Iowa defense rethinking things on its sideline. Devin Barclay to kick off. Darrell Johnson-Koulianos. Nice move. Another good move. And he's lost the football at the end of it. And Ohio State says they have it. Well, it looked like the one official might be marking it down back at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, he right here. See him?
Yep.
He's got his foot and he's marking it.
Buckeyes say we have it. He says, yeah, you're right, he has his foot there, but the officials certainly haven't been very demonstrative. Now there's the signal.
Yeah, he put his hand up. and he marked it right away. You saw his foot. Go back and look at this touchdown. Oh, here it is. This is the run back right there. Let's see if he's down. Ball still in control. Control, knees down. Ball's in control. That's well done by the officials. Still in control. Shin is going down. Yeah, that's a good call by the officials.
He was down before the ball was out. One back and 3 wide receivers, and it's Adam Robinson ahead for 5. And let's take a look at the touchdown run that capped the 8-play drive.
Remember I told you about how they're crossing people inside? Here comes Greenwood for the safety coming down, and then I want you to watch his vision. He's going to see this, and it's nice patience, and then he hits it right in between. And one of the problems when you stunt people inside, sometimes you get them, and sometimes you get got. That time, they got got.
Vandenberg dumps it down to Brett Morse, the fullback, and he's out of bounds very near the first down, just about a half-yard short. Here's Holly.
Lit up his defensive line. Rick Kaczynski threw the whiteboard, and then Kirk Ferentz ran in and started screaming, separate, separate, separate. You got to get those big guys off of you. They need better play from their touted defensive line.
Vandenberg keeps. Thank you, Holly. First down, Iowa, and now the time a factor. 1:17 left in the half, and all 3 timeouts left for the Hawkeyes.
Plenty of time. Here, you know, Sean, what we've seen out of Vandenberg and his arm today, as you watch Ricky Stanzi look on, he's seeing the same things we're seeing. This kid's been accurate. The ball's been out. Catch the ball.
Vandenberg's been hurt by drops. And there's another ball that was not caught by Tony Moyaki, the fine tight end, one of the 8 semifinalists for the John Mackey Award this year, is the best tight end in the country.
Moyaki's one of those guys who has pretty sure hands. You can see him working against the backer. See how he gets inside out? But that's the 3rd drop ball. And yeah, this Vandenberg, he's got a little juice on it. But hey, at this level, you got to catch the juice ball.
Ken O'Keefe said that Vandenberg is probably their best quarterback in terms of mechanics and fundamentals. Even better than Stanzi. Vandenberg hit as he throws off the hands of his receiver, and intercepted by Anderson Russell. He was looking for Moyaki again. It was a little high, but his mates have been no help to James Vandenberg here in the first half.
You are 100% right. The 4th drop ball. Watch, they only rush 3, they drop 8. They give you lots of coverage, but he still sees it. Yes, it's a little behind him. Moyaki, though, I think is an outstanding player. And the ball's in a place where he has a chance to catch it. He's got to come down with it.
Now, the turnovers have been a big problem in recent weeks for Iowa. Their narrow victory against Indiana, and then the loss at home to Northwestern last week. They were -6 in turnover margin in those 2 games. Pryor shakes loose, goes out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Loss of a couple on the play. 50 seconds left in the half, and 2 timeouts left for the Bucks.
Sean, remember a week ago against Penn State, Ohio State game. They came out and they saw the coverage they wanted, and they took a shot down the left sideline. This was very similar. However, this time Iowa kept the coverage deep, had nowhere to go with it, and forced that scramble.
Aaron, the ball carrier. Crowd groans a little bit. The seemingly conservative approach. Time to answer the Aflac trivia question. The last school other than Ohio State or Michigan to win the Big Ten title outright. And the answer is Illinois back in 2001. Ron Turner went to the Sugar Bowl where the Illini lost to LSU. And Ohio State in no hurry here. They'll be content to take a 7-point lead to the half. Iowa's a chance to win just its 2nd outright Big Ten title in the last 50 years if they can win out. Fans again boo as Herron got dumped by Christian Ballard. As expected with these two stout defenses, a defensive struggle in the first half. Here's Holly Rowe.
Coach Ferentz, what did you like about how your young quarterback came out in the first half?
I think he's playing with a lot of poise. That last interception really didn't hurt us. We were taking a couple shots down the field, but I think he's really doing a nice job.
What about your defense? So how do you get Ohio State off the field?
Well, we didn't do a very good job stopping the run there in that second quarter. And the penalty obviously hurt us too. So we can't commit errors like that, and we got to do a better job against the run.
Thanks, Coach.
Holly Rowe showing an impressive time in the 40. At the half, Ohio State 10, Iowa 3. Stay tuned for a complete halftime report right after these messages. Back at the Horseshoe Ohio Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Halftime, and the Buckeyes lead 10-3 over Iowa. It was a tale of two quarters. Iowa controlled the first quarter. In the first quarter, they outgained Ohio State 67-30. But then the Buckeyes dominated the second period. And welcome back to the Horseshoe. Sean McDonough with Matt Millen, rejoined shortly by Holly Rowe. The big question all week leading into this game, this big game with the conference title and BCS bid up for grabs, was how would James Vandenberg play at quarterback? So far, so good.
I think way better than so far, so good. I think what they've done with James Vandenberg, remember they deferred to the front end, then they slowly worked him into it, and as the game has progressed, so has he. Absent those drops, this kid's played a perfect first half. I would expect that Ferenz in the second half here would take off even more of the reps. I couldn't be more impressed with the way he's handled it. And Sean, here's the biggest thing. In Ohio, 105,000 people, your first start, the game was not too big for him. Not at all.
Stumbled and fell to the ground on the first play from scrimmage, executing a handoff, but then kept throwing pass after pass on the money. Completed his first 7. And had 3 drops in the fourth and went off the hands of Tony Moyaki. It could have been caught. Devin Barkley, a good kick.
Good decision.
And made at the last minute. Darrell Johnson-Koulianos was running out of room there in the end zone. Time now for a look at today's Pacific Life game summary. And the early story was Vandenberg, who helped lead them to a 3-0 advantage. The interception late, as Kirk Ferentz said with Holly Rowe, really did not hurt. Ohio State struggled in the first quarter, then found the rhythm, a nice balance of the pass and run, and the only touchdown of the half late in the first half. 3:54 remaining. Brandon Sane from 22 yards out. Despite the good play by Vandenberg, only 84 yards of offense for Iowa in that first half. Struggling to get a running game going. Brandon Wager, their freshman running back, sick. And he has not seen any action. So it's been Adam Robinson doing the bulk of the ball carrying, and he's just back from 2 games out with an ankle injury, and that's about his best run of the day. Good for 9 yards. It is, in fact, his longest run of the game. 2nd and 1.
And the way they do it, Sean, it's all about the numbers. We've talked about that all game long, but they just overload to that top side and get as many blockers over there as you can, and then he just follows the blocks. Get a hat on a hat, get to that next level.
Robinson, the redshirt freshman running back out of Des Moines. And he found a nice hole created by that veteran offensive line. First down to the 38. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, I caught up with Jim Dressel at the half of Ohio State. He said their ability to throw the football early in the first quarter really opened up the running game for them in the second quarter. They had 105 yards total in that first half. But he said, hey, it's going to come down to the last play of this game to win a championship. And one other note, the Ohio State defense was on the sideline for such a long time. Doug Worthington, their senior defensive tackle, just reminded them, guys, we got to get more pressure on this quarterback. He is way too comfortable out here.
They're seeing the same thing we're seeing, and here it is again.
Vandenberg going deep and has a receiver open. Johnson-Koulianos the catch. Devon Torrance pulls him down and saves a touchdown inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 7. 1st and goal, Iowa, on a 55-yard play to the delight of Mrs. Vandenberg. James's mother Ann there in the middle.
Well, what he's happy about and should be happy about is first the time, and then there's pressure late. But he just stands in there, steps and throws. He gets Kulianos exactly where he needs, but most important, puts the ball and lets him run to it. Really well thrown.
On first and goal with the crowd roaring. Robinson down to the 4. Gang tackled there, led by Brian Roll. The attendance here today, 105,455. It's the 8th largest crowd in stadium history. And in the middle of the picture there with the glasses, all of the glasses on top of there. But right in the center is Ann Vandenberg, James's mom. Looks young enough to be the sister, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's excited though, and he should be, because she's been throwing it. Her son has been throwing the heck out of the football.
He's just 19 years old. Turns 20 on November 24th if you want to send him a card. Play clock running out. And he got the timeout.
Timeout. Iowa, they're first.
Well, the first time today, Vandenberg has seemed very confused.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
You're James Vandenberg. You're making your very first start. You're in a tight position. You're trying to get the calls out. Watch right there. There's a senior. Eubanks making his 36th career start, straightening the whole thing out.
So after the timeout, second and goal, and nowhere to go for Adam Robinson. Stopped for a loss by Ross Holman with help from Kurt Coleman. And Austin Spittler helped blow up the play, and now a big play call here for Ken O'Keefe. Third down and goal from the 5.
Well, every time we watch Ohio State, and Holman's right in the middle of all the stuff, isn't he? That's a good linebacker. There's good linebackers on both sides of the ball today.
Vandenberg on third and goal. Throws, dropped again. Just shy of the goal line. Trey Strauss having a nightmarish day here in his home state. That's his third drop of the game.
And there was some major juice on the ball from Vandenberg. Watch him step and throw. That's a bullet. And it hits him in the chest. Strauss is letting the ball get into his pads. You got to use your hands. You got to catch that ball away from your body. That's 3 for 3 in terms of drops for Strauss. Not a good day.
You have to feel for him now. He's
Absolutely.
like the putter with the yips. 22-yard field goal try. And it is no good. Wide right from Daniel Murray. When we spoke with Kirk Ferentz during the week, he said our kicker's been inconsistent, and that's a big concern. You can't leave points on the field in a game like this. And Vandenberg playing valiantly at his first career start, plagued by the drops, and now a terrific opening drive of the half ends with nothing.
Yeah, he pushed it. Pushed it, and that's another wasted scoring opportunity. They drop one in the end zone in the first quarter. They come out in the second quarter and do third quarter rather, and do everything right. Drive the field, you have your shot, and they blow it.
Now Ohio State, power formation, and back to pounding it at this Iowa defense. Brandon Sane for 3, taken down by Adrian Claiborne. Well, Kirk Ferentz talked during the week about the need to play the way they usually do, a solid game. So far, they've avoided the costly turnovers. As he mentioned, that interception the other half was in a time setting when they were just trying to get the ball down the field. But you can't do these kind of things on the road against a team like Ohio State and win. 5 drops and a missed field goal.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all right there. You can't win like that. You beat yourself.
Sane. He took the snap and got to the 29. I think the message from Ken O'Keefe and Ricky Stanzi for Vandenberg has to be, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
Just keep your head up here and hope to get a little more help.
Well, here's the good news. It's early. They're only down by 7. They're playing good football. I mean, you got to be encouraged the way they're playing. Their defense has been playing well. You're going to have your shot again.
3rd and 1, and it is Sane. The ball's out. Looks like the Buckeyes recovered, but might cost them the first down.
You're exactly right, Sean. See where that official was on the top side, and then the ball came out, and he took the step back. That's good mechanics by the official.
And it is 4th down. That fumble cost them the first down. Pryor wants Jim Tressel to go for it. I think it would be very out of character for Jim Tressel to go for it in this instance.
Well, Terrell Pryor wants it.
And
he's not happy he's not getting it. They're going to send that punt.
We talked about the formula here. Conservative offensive football, play field position, rely on your excellent defense. To be against his philosophy to go for it in this situation. So John Thomas on the punt. And the fair catch made by Colin Sandeman at the 34-yard line. 37-yard punt.
You're watching college football presented by Kay Jewelers. College football presented by Kay Jewelers. Brought to you by Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Cadillac.
There's no one. Nope. When he breaks, you got to break. But the fundamentals now: stay low, stay square, stay in your back pedal as long as you can. As long as you can. And if you play man coverage, you can man cuts. That to me, that's some people refer to it as him. Call it him defense. Very simple. You got him, I got him, he's got him. Take your guy, cover him.
There's a look inside Jim Tressel's coaching class. A lot of help there from John Cooper, former Ohio State coach, one of the best of his era. Adam Robinson on first down for Iowa, got to the 37-yard line, knocked down by Anderson Russell. Jim Tressel takes that class very seriously. It just doesn't have his name on it. He's there with help from Earl Bruce and John Cooper and members of the current coaching staff. Thaddeus Gibson's the only member of the football team that takes the class, in part because Tressel's such a hard grader. I mean, it's not the show up, get an A class. Jim's serious about it.
And if you listen to what Coach Cooper was talking about there, that's the exact same things that they preach to their players in the team. He was talking about fundamentals. He's talking about staying low, staying in your back pedal, you know, your chest over your, all those good things, and that's how you play the game. And that's all good, solid fundamentals, and every well-coached team does the same thing.
Inoperable. Timing will be kept in the press box. We're adjusting the time at this point.
So while they take a look at the clock, Holly, I know you were able to attend Coach Tressel's class earlier this week. What'd you think?
Well, first of all, it was at 7:30 in the morning on Veterans Day, and actually school at Ohio State was out. But if you came to class, you got to make up an absence. And there were only about 3 or 4 kids missing. There were about 35 kids there in class, including Thaddeus Gibson on time. But what I was impressed with, Jim Tressel came and took roll at 7:30, and he knew who had missed, who hadn't. He said that Will Smith is the only football player he's ever had that got an A in that class. And it's pretty hard.
Reset the game clock to 9:17. 9:17.
And it's not just a basic football course. As you saw there with Coach Cooper, they get into a lot of technical stuff, a lot of nuts and bolts football.
Any fan should be able to take classes like that when you get the good fundamentals. And after all, when all else fails with you on the field, you always go back to fundamentals.
2nd down and 5. After they address the clock issue, it's running. 9 minutes left now, 3rd quarter. Vandenberg Short throw, and that time a catch by Moyaki, senior tight end out of Wheaton, Illinois. He missed 3 games during the year due to injury. He's had an injury-plagued career, but Coach Ferentz believes he has a bright future as a tight end. He can run block, and he can excel in the pass game.
Oh, he's a good one. I mean, you just put the tape on, you see it right away. And you, like you said, Sean, very few tight ends are complete. Moyaki, he's complete.
3rd down and short. That was the first catch of the day for Moyaki, and then moving along the line.
Ball start, 77. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well,
that'd drive you mad if you're a coach.
Yeah, you know that Coach Ferentz is trying to stay positive. It was Riley Reif who moved, so right now it's Reif mad. Another one of those little things that you can't keep doing if you hope to win a game like this. Vandenberg on 3rd and 6. Throws it away down the middle. Really nobody in the area. Thrown closest to Darrell Johnson-Coulianos. Despite all the mistakes, the drop balls, the missed short field goal, and the penalties, they're in a 1-score game right now.
And that's because their defense has been keeping them in, and the field position game. They've been winning here in the punt game, kind of gaining a little bit of ground, and then their defense has been able to hold up.
Iowa's been coming from behind all year. They trailed at one point in 8 of their 9 wins. Donahue the punt. Very small. Stopped at the 30-yard line. 41-yard punt, 8-yard return. We return to Columbus after this. Aerial coverage from above the shoe provided by Goodyear. New Goodyear Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas. Both offenses looking for more gas. Just 168 total yards for each team. Ohio State's ball leading by 7. Dan Herron slides to the 34, gain of 4. Here's Holly.
Terrell Pryor of Ohio State has sustained a small cut on his ring finger of his throwing hand. You can see they've put a bandage on it. It's not severely deep, but it is bothering him just a little bit. I've seen him kind of grabbing his hand and closing his fist. We'll see how it affects him when it throws. But hey, guys, he's got a hurt knee, a sprained left ankle, turf toe in both toes. A little hurt finger's not going to keep him from going.
And it's on the outside, which is good news for him. It's not on the inside where he has to grip the ball.
And only called on him to throw 11 times so far today. Herron gets 3 more. It'll set up a 3rd and 3 after a Sports Center right now from New York. Matt Weiner.
All right, John, Sports Center right now is presented by Sprint. The #1 team in the country is on the road today, and South Carolina's hanging tough with the Gators of Florida. Stephen Garcia hit Wesley Saunders with a 9-yard touchdown pass, and it's a 17-14 Gators lead, looking for their 20th straight win.
And they've won 17 of the last 18 against South Carolina. Big 3rd down here for Ohio State. They're 5 out of 10 on 3rd down today. 3rd and 3. Pryor, just a 4-man rush, trying to run away from it, and he is sacked by Adrian Claiborne back at the 25-yard line.
They tried to go 3 receivers to the top side. They took that away with coverage, and then it ends up on the inside. Watch Claiborne up on your top. Nice, just jumps on the inside, expecting Bourne to be there, and he is. Stays square, and now run him down. It doesn't get any better than that. That's a tremendous discipline out of Claiborne right there.
8.5 sacks now for the year. He started the day 3rd in the Big Ten. 12-yard loss. John Tolman, not a very good punt. You could hear that crowd groan as soon as it left his foot. And the fair catch made by Colin Sandeman. 31-yard kick. Tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern on ABC. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup continues in Phoenix. Jimmy Johnson had the wreck last week on the 3rd lap in Texas. It brought Mark Martin back within 73 points. Now 2 races left. Can JJ hang on, win that unprecedented 4th straight championship? He's been great in Phoenix over the years. The chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup presented by Goodyear tomorrow, 2:30 Eastern time on ABC. That points lead from 184 down to 73 after the wreck last week. Vandenberg on 1st down in the flat, and it is caught by Johnson-Koulianos. Looked like Coleman was closing with a chance to pick that off from our vantage point, and perhaps even a pick six, but Vandenberg threw it in the perfect spot where only his guy was going to get it.
Boy, that's a heck of a catch, man. Low and outside. And again, like you said, Sean, he throws it in a spot that either his guy catches it or it's incomplete. Koulianos, that's catching the ball with your hands.
Maybe you should stop hitting them, though, upright in stride.
Exactly.
And make it a little tougher for these receivers. Adam Robinson gets them very close to a first down in Ohio State territory, just shy of the 46. No indication yet. The referee, Todd Gearlings, is going to bring out the sticks. Looks like a first down based on always accurate yellow line.
Yeah. You know, Sean, they've come out here in the third quarter right from the start, and they have run the football right at this Ohio State defensive front. We've talked a lot about that with and Doug Worthington on the inside and the linebackers, but they've made a little adjustment inside, and they are getting physical up front.
Kirk Ferentz is one of the all-time good guys, and so well respected within his profession. You see a game like this, Big Ten title on the line, a trip to the Rose Bowl in all likelihood on the line. The winner of it is definitely going to a BCS Bowl. And there he is, chatting up the guy who's just happy to be down there holding the down marker on the sideline with a big smile on his face. He is a wonderful person, Kirk Ferentz.
I think he may have the best run program out there. I just think he runs a fantastic football program.
54-year-old native of Michigan, went to high school in the Pittsburgh area.
Upper
Played at Connecticut.
Yep.
Good linebacker at Connecticut, all Yankee Conference academically as well. Vandenberg on first down. Given time again. Throws another strike. Caught. Marvin McNutt inside the 15. He's been the big playmaker in recent weeks for Ricky Stanzi, and now for Vandenberg. McNutt had a 92-yard touchdown to bring them back against Indiana and a 74-yard score against Northwestern last week. This one's good for 33.
Look at where he throws it. He knows where the defender is. He knows where the safety is vacated. Nice job by McNutt. See how he bent it at the top of his route. Gain a little ground. Come back inside. Great protection. This kid is playing his rear end off.
McNutt's a former quarterback, converted to wide receiver. Vandenberg handed it off, and inside the 10 goes Robinson to the 9. Todd Denlinger, senior from Troy, Ohio, made the tackle. One thing about the absence of Stanzi. Stanzi 17-4 as the starting quarterback, but he leads the nation entering today's action with 14 interceptions. And in recent weeks, he's been particularly wild with his throws. So with Vandenberg in there today, he's been much more accurate than Stanzi's been lately.
You know, Sean, we've seen across college football, we've seen some great freshman performances. This one's ranking right at the top right now. You saw it up at USC. You saw it down at Michigan. This kid right here he's playing lights out.
2nd and 6. Vandenberg throws a corner of the end zone for Moyaki. And it's incomplete. Coleman had the primary coverage. And Moyaki's seen a lot of double coverage according to Ken O'Keefe this season. Seen a lot of linebacker and safety combinations.
And so you know what you like with Vandenberg is he's throwing the ball in places that only his guys can get it. And you saw in that last one to McNutt, he threw him open a little bit. McNutt does a nice job. He stems it at the top of his route, comes back inside, but he puts it only where he can get it away from the defender. He's been impressive.
They got inside the 10 moments ago, missed a 22-yard field goal. Trying for the tying touchdown. 3rd down and 6. Quick throw, Vandenberg, and it is caught for the touchdown, Marvin McNutt.
Sean, we talked about the juice that he puts in the ball, and a couple guys haven't been able to hang on to it. Well, this juice is in a really tight window between two defenders and right on top of them. Kurt Coleman, the safety, was there. Checkwell, the corner, was there, but McNutt comes down with the ball because of a fantastic throw by Vandenberg.
Yeah, he threw a McBullet to McNutt. First career touchdown pass for James Vandenberg. There'll be plenty more. And Murray ties it with the extra point. 9-yard touchdown to McNutt, who had the big 33-yard catch during the drive. Ferentz talking to James Vandenberg. They didn't offer Vandenberg a scholarship until midway through his senior year in high school. Coach Ferentz said, when I went to watch him play basketball right after his football season ended, in that basketball jersey, it looked like he weighed about 160 pounds. I wasn't sure we were doing the right thing. He's sure of it now. They faked the reverse action on the kickoff return, and then Small got splattered at the 21-yard line by Paki O'Meara. Here's the City inside view.
Now this is just good defense. He's going to hold the outside right here. And then from the inside, you're going to see Coleman, the safety. He's going to come, and they're going to squeeze this. McNutt's going to come down, and I want you to watch the window right there. Look at that. That is tiny. That is good defense and a great throw. It just splits the two defenders, and that is a fifth-year senior. I mean, you don't get better than that, Sean. That's some good stuff.
Kirk Ferentz wondered if Vandenberg 2 years ago would be able to make that throw when he was 160 pounds in high school. He's 205 now. Pryor throws, inbounds the catch by Dane Sonsenbacher. Good for about 7. It's been a game of momentum shifts. Iowa had the decided edge in the first quarter. Ohio State dominated the second quarter, and Iowa's had the edge in play here in the third. They've scored a touchdown and missed a short field goal.
Luke Herron now lining up in the Wildcat.
On 2nd down and 3. Just about every time we've seen them do the Wildcat the last couple weeks, it's been that. Just an off-tackle run for Herron. Broderick Binns made the tackle, but it's a first down across the 31-yard line. We're under 3 minutes to go, third quarter.
You know, I know it's been talked about, but that Wildcat, or whatever you want to call it, everybody has their different names for it. All it does is it evens up the numbers. You take the quarterback, you still have to cover him. Usually normal football is 11 versus 10 because you don't count for the quarterback. You take him out and count him. Now it's 10 on 10, and the numbers are even.
Now just one back. That was the first down of the quarter for Ohio State. Herron tackled by A.J. Eads. A pickup of 3. Wednesday night at 8, 7 Central. Don't miss ABC's Modern Family. There are 2 big reasons to watch this fall's #1 new comedy. Ed Norton and Elizabeth Banks guest starring for 2 more big reasons. It's an all-new Modern Family this Wednesday at 9, 8 Central. Wait a minute. At one place it says 8, 7 Central, and the other place says 9, 8 Central.
That's just a math problem. We'll take care of it.
Figure out which one it is. Tune in and just stay to ABC all night. Then you're sure to catch it.
There you go.
Pryor underneath. Caught. Jake Ballard, the tight end who thought about trying to leap a would-be tackler and then thought better of it. Out of bounds at the 48-yard line. 17-yard gain, first down.
A lot of these crossing routes is what Ohio State's Jim Tressel's calling. You can see Ballard coming into your screen, and it's just a defense when they run in the zone and you're not accounting for them. So you don't see people in front of you, so you start to drop, and then here he comes from the opposite side. Always have to keep your head on a swivel.
By the way, it is Wednesday night, 9, 8 Central, I'm told, officially. Modern Family.
We knew that. You like that show.
I do. It's very funny. Pryor. After all that, just across the line of scrimmage. The last little push across the boundary was from A.J. Eads. It's just the 4th run of the day for Pryor. He's been patient back there in the pocket.
Yeah, and he has been patient because he can rely on this. It's great speed. Watch this. Now there's a make and move. Okay, that's fine. Now you have to take an angle, and you cannot underestimate the speed of Pryor because he outruns angles all the time. He's a long strider, but man, he gains ground.
He's a pretty good athlete in Adrian Claiborne chasing after him. Claiborne, an agile 282 pounds, was a fine basketball player in high school in the St. Louis area. He played high school basketball against Marvin McNutt. Herron carries. Klug made the tackle. Matter of fact, McNutt said neither one of them could guard the other because McNutt was a little bit too small and quick for Claiborne. Claiborne was a little bit too big and strong for McNutt.
And you know who was a stud basketball player was Terrell Pryor. And he could face it up. He could play with his back to the basket. He could do it all.
Played on a state championship high school basketball team in Jeanette, Pennsylvania. Facing another 3rd down here. 3rd down and 5. They've missed on their last 3 third downs. And he's pursued from behind. He got it off, and it's caught by Deron Carter, the freshman. His first catch and a big one down inside the 31-yard line. Claiborne was in hot pursuit of Pryor and could not get him.
And that was all Terrell Pryor. He bought time, nothing down the field. Eyes are there. Now he's going to buy time. Get going, and he just gets out of Claiborne's reach and picks up the first to Duron Carter, who is, of course, Chris Carter's son.
That was the first catch of the day for the true freshman. Good for 12 yards. On we go to the fourth quarter with the Big Ten title still very much up for grabs. Big Ten title on the line. The automatic bid to a BCS bowl game will be earned by one of these two teams today. It'll likely be a trip to the Rose Bowl for the winner, but definitely a trip to a BCS bowl game for whichever team emerges victorious. 15 minutes to go, regulation time, tied at 10. First and 10, Ohio State. And Herron never could find running room. On first and 10 from the 31, he lost a couple. And we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. Quarterback comparison. The spotlight entering the game was on James Vandenberg, the redshirt freshman, making his first career start. But Terrell Pryor's just a little bit older than James Vandenberg. You tend to lose sight of that because it seems like he's been around forever, dating back to high school when he was the top recruit in the country.
And Terrell Pryor, you can see he's got, especially last week, he had a great game. This week he's doing the same thing. He's under control, no turnovers.
Pryor throws it short. Ballard, the tight end, trying to escape and could not. It's a 3-yard gain. They're such good tacklers as they have been for many years at Iowa. That was A.J. Eads taking down a big guy. Ballard at 6'6", 256 pounds.
Here's the difference in the game tonight, Sean, right now. The difference is the defense of Iowa has kept everything in front of them. And Iowa offensively with Vandenberg has pushed the ball down the field a few times and got some chunks.
Of course, they're in long field goal range, but bear in mind it's their backup kicker for Ohio State, Barclay, who's been the starting kicker now for just 2 games. Pryor has a big gap, makes a great move, has a first down and much more. Down to the 11-yard line. Tyler Sash chopped him down, but it's 19 yards for Terrell Pryor and a first down for the Buckeyes.
Really done right there on the left side by Cordell and Boren, 65. They just throw him up the field and allows him to get down. Here's the first level. There's the second level. Oh, he just fakes out anger and picks up even more yardage.
One of the best tacklers in Iowa history there. Most guys would struggle against Pryor in space. It's Herron back in the Wildcat. He turns the corner inside the 5. Touchdown!
As you hear the boom cheer coming, and that was pure boom speed to the top side, a healthy ankle and 6 quick.
And Boom Herron, the sophomore from Warren, Ohio, has given the Buckeyes the lead, and now a big extra point for the new kicker, Barclay. It's a 7-point lead. 13:03 remaining fourth quarter. The 11-yard run by Herron completes the 79-yard drive that took up 11 plays. Sean McDonough, Matt Millen, Holly Rowe back in Columbus, Ohio. Boom Herron, the touchdown of 11 yards, capping the 79-yard scoring drive. Terrell Pryor was 4 for 4 passing on that drive, and also the key 19-yard run on 3rd down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Good kick by Barclay. And Darrell Johnson Koulianos takes a knee in the end zone. Here's a look again at the go-ahead touchdown.
So how do you answer it? You give it to Boom Herron. And first, you use speed. Nice by Bourne right there. And then there's one right there. There's a nice job here of a straight arm. And look at the block by Sanzabach. And then it's speed to the edge and another stiff arm on Greenwood and sprint to the end zone. Well executed, but a great job of speed and strength out of Boom Herron.
Up to 76 yards rushing. They've had only one 100-yard rusher all season. That was Brandon Sane. They went for 113 in their win at Indiana. So now Vandenberg out throwing. And a short gain. Forward progress across the 24 for Marvin McNutt, tackled by Austin Spiller. Holly?
Well, Ohio State's offense just answered, but before that, the Ohio State defense was sitting on the sideline, kind of stunned after that touchdown they gave up to Iowa. In fact, their coordinator, Luke Fickell, co-defensive coordinator, said, guys, we're not going to change what we're doing, but you've got to get there. We're doing everything right. You're just not getting there. His great tackle, Cameron Hayward, said, Coach, it's my fault. I'll do a better job. They've got to get more pressure on this quarterback.
They're battling a stout and experienced offensive line today. 4 of those 5 O-line starters have at least 22 career starts, and they pave the way for Adam Robinson. He's out to the 49-yard line, finally taken down by Kurt Coleman. 24-yard run, first down Hawkeyes.
Watch what they do right here. And it's Reef. And he's the redshirt freshman on Cameron Hayward, and he just blocked him all over the field. Watch this. Very well done. Hayward gets up the field, but he still stays on him and gets his hips kicked. Beluga on the outside, another good job. Kid's playing a heck of a game in there right now, this Reef kid.
And he's the only one who hasn't had at least 22 career starts. Today is his 9th. Freshman out of South Dakota. Vandenberg with a corner blitz coming. High throw, incomplete. Off the hands of Marvin McNutt.
That time they got a little bit of pressure back inside, and it came over Reef. This time they were able to get to the edge of him. But it looks like right now at Vandenberg, I mean, he's a cucumber back there. He's as cool as can be. This is an impressive way to start your career.
They don't think Ricky Stanzi could make it back for the game next week at home against Minnesota to close out the regular season. They do think he'd be available to play in a bowl game, but you wonder if they would go back to Stanzi with the way Vandenberg has played today. Flag before the play was completed.
False start, 63. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Julian Vandervelde, the junior guard. Great student, 3.5 GPA, ESPN the Magazine District Academic All-American, studying English and religious studies.
And a tough guy, too. And all that whole offensive line is a tough group.
Second and 15. Hawkeyes back at their own 44. 4-man rush. Again, Vandenberg well protected. Short throw and short of the target. Colin Sandeman. Here's Matt Weiner in New York.
Sean, USC has played in the last 4 Rose Bowls, but they're going to have to continue to come back against Stanford if they're going to make it 5 in a row. 2 touchdowns down when Joe McKnight gets in from 28 yards. It's a 7-point game once again in LA.
Well, it was a stunner a couple of years ago when Stanford was the 41-point underdog in Los Angeles and beat USC. Today they're an 11-point underdog. And to pull off the shocker again. Not as big a shock this time. Vandenberg throws, and it is intercepted. Ross Holman inside the 30 and finally upended at the 24.
He was trying to throw it over the top of Holman, and he wasn't able to get there. Holman did a great job. Watch the depth he gets. Number 51 right here in the middle. Watch the depth he gets in his drop. Vandenberg has time. He's looking up here to the top side. Thinks he can get
the interception.
No go.
There's an illegal block in the back. Number 43 of the defense during the
because Ohio State was already in field goal range after that return by Holman. But the blocking foul take them back to midfield.
You know, Sean, I couldn't tell if he was trying to throw to the underneath receiver and overthrew it, or if he was trying to hit the guy behind him.
I think that's what it was.
I couldn't really tell, but Holman played it perfectly.
It looked like Sandeman for a moment was open deeper, but the throw was too short. And Holman has his 4th interception of the year. He's the team leader. Had one last week at Penn State as well. I formation, and it's Sane breaking free. Touchdown with a great block from Zach Boren.
On the front end, you call it great block by Zach Boren. And on the back end, Zanzenbacher again with a great block to be able to escort him into the end zone.
Officially a 49-yard touchdown run by Sane. Barkley the extra point. 2 touchdowns in a span of a minute and 52 seconds. And they're starting to smell the roses in Columbus.
ESPN's College Football on ABC. Presented by Kay Jewelers, the #1 jewelry store in America. Verizon Wireless, America's largest 3G network. And Dr. Pepper. Drink it slow. Doctor's orders.
There's some great numbers there through the years, Sean. Right there, that one. That's my favorite of all time. My favorite Ohio State player and favorite Raider of all time. Jack Tatum, who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Look at how the uniforms changed over the years. They're going to wear throwback uniforms in Ann Arbor next week against Michigan. Kevin Barkley's kick down to Darrell Johnson-Koulianos. He escapes. Makes another good move, and he's off to the races. He will score. Darrell Johnson-Koulianos touchdown, and Iowa is right back in it.
How do you answer a big play? Easy, with another big play. Just a little bit of a juggle on the front end of it, and Sean, he got a lane to the outside, and it was over. Kirk Ferentz said he wanted the game to be close in the 4th quarter. Thought it was slipping away with a 14-point game, and now we're right back into the middle of a big one.
Darrell Johnson-Koulianos returns the kickoff 99 for a touchdown. Iowa started the day 84th in the country in kickoff returns.
So they had to improve.
They were due. Averaging 20.6 per return. Murray adds the extra point. And the blizzard of scoring continues. 2 touchdowns in a minute 52 for Ohio State. Koulianos, the response.
There it is right there. He just outruns that one. Just a reach and then a cut back inside, and then he had a host of blockers on the right side. It starts out like it's not going to be good, but I want you to watch right there, runs through the tackle, and then he picks up his posse and away they go. Nice cut back inside. It doesn't get any better than that. And you can see Claiborne sitting on the sideline and Robinson jumping up and down like a good freshman should. See the old vet sitting over there going, oh man, I got to get right back out here. I'm tired. Robinson jumping up and down. But Koulianos, that it doesn't get any better than that.
Darrell Johnson-Koulianos, another one of those Ohio natives, one of 13. He's from Campbell, Ohio, on this Iowa squad. First career kickoff return for a touchdown. 7-point game. Murray kicks off. Out of bounds.
That was awful.
Well, drive Kirk Ferentz crazy. He's already missed a chip shot field goal that hasn't endeared him to Hawkeyes everywhere. Jim Tressel says we'll take the ball at the 40-yard line, please. At least that seems to be what he's gesturing.
I'd take it. That's an easy one. And now it goes back into your defense if you're Iowa and your offensive line from Ohio State.
2 fouls on the play. Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team. Ball's placed at the 40-yard line. After the play was over, we have a dead ball. Personal foul. 46 on the defense. Contact to the head. 15 yards. First down.
My goodness. From awful to even that much worse, Christian Ballard called for the personal foul. And that'll put the ball at the Iowa 45-yard line.
Christian Ballard. I'm surprised. He's running down on kickoffs. He's a defensive lineman right in the middle of it.
They announced 46, and he's the only 46 on their roster.
Yeah. We'll take a peek, see if we can find it.
A couple of big breaks for Ohio State, knocked on their heels for a moment by the kickoff return by Darrell Johnson-Koulianos. Boom Herron gets nothing. Jeff Tarpinian, a backup linebacker, made the stop.
Now, I've talked about it a lot, but you're seeing on both sides of the ball, you're seeing very good defensive discipline. And when you lose the discipline, that's when the big plays have come. Speed one time with Herron on the one side, then the long run the other side. Claiborne jumped on the inside, and he took it outside. But for the most part, pretty well played on both sides.
Herron powers down to the 37-yard line. 2 yards short of the first down. Sean Prater made the tackle for Iowa, and the clock's going to run under 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. In this battle for the Big Ten title, the winner is guaranteed at least a share of the Big Ten Conference Championship, and the winner of this one will definitely get the automatic berth out of the Big Ten into the BCS Bowl.
It's a big play right here.
And it's Herron with the first down and more to the 29-yard line. Here's Matt Weiner in New York.
All right, Sean, time for our AT&T All-America Player of the Week update. Ole Miss running back Dexter McCluster put up a school record 282 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, 324 total yards in the round of Tennessee today. To cast your vote, text vote to 345-345 from your mobile phone.
All right, Matt, thank you. Here in Columbus, Jim Tressel's team is over 200 yards rushing for the 4th game in a row. They'll lose a couple on that carry. Herron wrapped up by Carl Klug for a 2-yard loss.
Well, they found a soft spot that they like, that Ohio State offensive line. And it's on the right side. Brewster, the center. And you got Browning over there. And Marcus Hall's over there. Shugart, 76, is in there. Cordell. I mean, they're coming off the ball really well. Now, that time, Klug, they come in a stunt and got in on the backside.
213 yards rushing now for Ohio State. Sains over 100 with 103. His second 100-yard game of the season. There's both 100-yard games by a running back. Pryor's gone over 100 yards rushing twice this year for Ohio State. Herron got it back to the 27. And that's, by the way, just the second 100-yard rusher allowed this year by Iowa's defense. The only other to get 100 on the ground, Alexander Robinson of Iowa State, in a one-sided win for the Hawkeyes in that rivalry game.
Oh, it sets up 3rd and 8. So they tried the right side again. Last time they just tried to pull power inside. And now you get 3rd and 8. And again, this goes back to that 3rd down. Win 3rd down. Whoever wins 3rd down wins the game.
Barkley might be called upon for the biggest field goal attempt of his brief career. Nothing doing there. Claiborne again, the man in the right spot for Iowa to drive Herron back. They'll give him forward progress to the 30. And this is an interesting call now for Jim Tressel, because it'll be a 47-yard field goal. He passed on an attempt of this exact same distance last week at Penn State. We asked him about that. He said the field was a little bit mushy. The plant foot's very important. It's a different situation on our field. So here is the former professional soccer player Barclay to try a 47-yarder.
Who on this surface gets great footing with his plant foot. And that's the foot right before the kick when it sets down.
Big kick to make it a 2-score game. He hooked it, and it is no good.
Thank you very much if you're from Iowa.
They've survived a lot of punches today on that Iowa sideline. They're still only down by 7.
You're watching college football presented by Kay Jewelers.
Big stop by that Iowa defense after the kickoff out of bounds and the penalty. They forced a long field goal try, and it was missed by Bevan Barclay. Still a 1-score game. 7:11 to go. The freshman James Vandenberg's been excellent in his first career start. Deep handoff, and Adam Robinson falls down for a 2-yard loss back at the 28-yard line.
Tackled by himself. In the second half here, Sean, they found McNutt outside. Vandenberg, he's liked him. He's gone to him a few times. He's made some big chunk plays down the field. They're going to need that here.
Mentioned he's had the long touchdowns against Indiana.
Ooh, he's got something if he can get it.
And Northwestern. And he had the game-winning touchdown in the final seconds at Michigan State. Trying to set up a screen to the near side. They do. Tony Moyaki, the tight end. Out to the 36, just across the 35. Holly?
Well, guys, just after Ohio State had scored their last touchdown, Kirk Ferentz, normally a pretty calm, quiet guy, came, was pretty fired up, got in the face of his defense, got in the face of his kickoff return unit, and said, guys, this is far from over. Let's get ready to roll right now. Keep in mind, they've come from behind in 8 of 9 of their wins this year. This is the position they're used to, and it's a very quiet, business-like Iowa attitude on the sidelines right now. Been there, done that. Now can they just score?
Third down, a short 5, about 4.5 to go. Under 6 minutes to go, a 1-score game. Flag down. Vandenberg intercepted. And it's going to be run back by Thaddeus Gibson for a score. There is a flag down at the line of scrimmage on the near sideline. And it might be for an offside call against Ohio State. They are glum and not jumping up and down, and that flag was thrown right in front of the Buckeye sideline.
You know, Sean, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Offsides, number 43, defense, 5-yard penalty.
They're going to watch Williams 43 right there on the left side, right here. You take a good look. He jumps, and it's clear. He crosses the line. The ball is snapped. It's a good call.
Remains third down.
Well, that should not be third down. It was third down about 4.5. They announced it should be third down, but it should be a first down by about a half a yard. And now the referee, Todd Gearlings, is going over to talk to the official who mans the chains on the far side. I think he's going to correct himself.
The play results in a first down. The ball was beyond the 5-yard mark on the chain.
He obviously is listening to, hey, good job. He probably was listening, you know, to you. So
I strongly doubt it.
Yeah.
It's been a well-officiated game.
It has been.
Thankfully, with no big replay controversies, which seem to erupt week after week now in college football, including last night in Cincinnati. 5:40 to go. The winner gets at least a share of the Big Ten title and gets the automatic bid into a BCS bowl game, the first that'll be handed out this year. Colin Sandeman, a good spin move and a first down into Buckeye territory at the 46-yard line, pushed out by Devon Torrance, 13 yards for Iowa.
Knows the coverage, knows where to go. Look, keeps the safety in the middle. Now eyes back outside. Watch the spin. Picks up a first down. This kid, I'm telling you, this quarterback. Man, Sean, this kid looks like a fifth-year senior.
We haven't really seen Trey Strauss since those early drops. Sandeman about 5th on the wide receiver depth chart and coming back from a concussion today. Seeing some action. Vandenberg flutters Here's one, and it is caught on the ricochet by Moyaki. Well, Vandenberg's been good, but you have to be lucky sometimes too, and he was there. Roll, can't believe it. Chimdi Chekwa knocked it up in the air and looked like it was going to be a pickoff for the stunned Buckeyes. 16-yard gain.
This is not a good throw, ladies and gentlemen. He throws it into coverage. Watch this. Should have been a pick by Chekwa. Bounces up, and then Moyaki comes down. Great concentration, however. Just stays with the play and picks up the first.
Chekwa rolled both there, but it was Moyaki. 1st and 10. And Robinson got smacked by Ross Holman. Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator, told us Holman doesn't say much, but he does plenty of speaking with his play on the field. When he hits you, you know it.
Oh, he does. There's a bunch of guys over there who'll smack you. This guy Robinson, though, you got to really like him. I mean, yeah, he's been banged up. And you look at Jim Haycock, the defensive coordinator, and he told us. He told us about Robinson. He told us about this offensive line. He didn't know about the quarterback. He didn't know what to expect. Well, what he got was more than he expected.
Very quietly, Robinson's piled up 77 yards rushing on 17 carries. Vandenberg the slant. McNutt has it. McNutt finally taken down inside the 14-yard line. 1st and 10 Iowa, looking for a tying touchdown, and we're under 4 minutes to go with the Big Ten title and a BCS berth on the line.
Oh, look at that. Is so well done for a young freshman. You see how the pressure was coming into his face, which he knows then he has no underneath coverage. He waits for the slant, and then it's a mixed strike to McNutt. I can't help it. I got mix on my head here now. Sorry about that, people.
Quite all right.
I won't let it happen again.
James Vandenberg, his dad was a quarterback, his grandfather a quarterback. They spent a lot of time tutoring him, and it has paid off. Robinson down to the 10. I mean, this is his first start, but he might not ever play in a bigger game in college. In the horseshoe, last game of the home season for Ohio State on their senior day. They're only playing for the Big Ten title and a trip to the Rose Bowl.
Well, Keokuk, Iowa has all of about 11,400 people up there. That's about it. That's about as many tickets as they got in the section of the stadium. So he's playing in about maybe, see that section right down there? There's Keokuk right there. And that's the rest of the country all around him. That's the Buckeye Nation.
Time running down now. Here's Vandenberg, one-on-one coverage, and a great catch by McNutt over the defender Chekwa to snatch it, and they're an extra point away from a tie.
What a great back shoulder throw by Vandenberg. Watch this. McNutt, get to the top side, throw it back. McNutt goes over the top and plucks it. Boy, Chimdi Chekwa. This is good coverage. You got to get your head turned around. He didn't do it. McNutt did. Well thrown. 6 points. We got a game.
Huge extra point. Murray's been shaky. The missed short field goal and the kickoff out of bounds, and he drives that one through. Marvin McNutt, another big play. He's had a season full of them. And Ann Vandenberg, the proudest mom in America at the moment. 8 plays, 70 yards. The touchdown drive for Iowa to tie it. Oh yeah, Vandenberg, the freshman, he'll shrink under the pressure, right? He was 5 for 5 on the drive for 61 yards, but of course that offside play nullified the interception return for a touchdown. Murray kicks off. Tie game, 2:42 to go. Small. Ray Small. Stopped short of the 18-yard line by Tyler Nielsen. James Vandenberg, the pride of Keokuk, Iowa, southeast of Des Moines along the Mississippi River. And from moment one today, Matt, he came out on target, 7 for 7, then plagued by some drops, but it didn't rattle him. He kept throwing strikes, and they started to help him with some terrific catches.
Yeah, and we talked about he came out in the third quarter, found McNutt, he's not stopped. He's gone to him the whole time.
This is not an offense really built for the 2-minute drill, but this guy can explode on any play. Pryor goes out of bounds. 9-yard gain. Good play to start. this possession for Ohio State, in possession of all 3 of its timeouts and 2.5 minutes to go, needing a field goal in all likelihood to earn their 5th straight Big Ten title and a trip to the Rose Bowl. They haven't been to the Rose Bowl since after the 1996 season. They could have gone on 3 occasions since, but they went to play in a national championship game instead. That was way back in the 97 Rose Bowl when they beat Jake the Snake at Arizona State. Adrian Claiborne tackles Boom Herron, but it's a first down. Aaron Petrie, their outstanding senior kicker, knee surgery 2 weeks ago. So it could come down to the foot of the former professional soccer player Devin Barkley,
who's already missed one from 47. But here's the deal. Okay, so you take the game right up to this point. You're under 2 minutes. It's a tie game. Doesn't matter how you played up to this point. If you're going to be a great defense, you be a defense now. And if you're going to be a great offense, you be a great offense now. The same with being a great player.
They're going to try to use Pryor's athleticism for the big play. He got 1 yard, and then A.J. Eads ran him out. It was interesting, Matt. They weren't in any big hurry. I mean, there is a lot of time, particularly if you're just playing to get into field goal range. But they were rather nonchalant with that play clock running and the game clock running prior to that last snap.
I'll tell you who wasn't nonchalant. Eads right there. That was really well done. We talked about Terrell Pryor being able to outrun angles. Not that one. He got on his horse. He took the great angle, higher than expected, but he was able to knock him out of bounds.
You and I have talked about perhaps the thought that Pryor might run more design plays with him running in mind. But Jim Tressel doesn't want to get him beat up. He's been whacked around all year, has a lot of nagging little injuries. Has an open receiver, Small. He did not get to the sideline. He tried valiantly, but fell down short of it. Sean Prater credited with the stop, and again, they're not moving very briskly.
No, and a great stop. Sean, that is really hard to do what he just did there. Sean Prater in the open field one-on-one, given a two-way go by the receiver, and he gets him on the ground. And the most important thing when tackling is getting him down. He did it.
You know, the crowd's booing, but I think Jim Tressel's thought process here, Matt, is there's plenty of time with 1:09 and now 2 timeouts left to get into the position you need to get in to win the game. What he doesn't want to do is get stopped here on 3rd and 5 after the punt and give Iowa a chance to win it with plenty of time.
Or to do something in terms of forcing something down the field, which Terrell Pryor has not done the last 2 games in terms of turnovers. They haven't had any turnovers, and you don't want to take a shot just for the sake of taking a shot.
Tie game, 1:09 to go. Barkley preparing for what could be his moment. Here's Matt Weiner's moment in New York.
All right, Sean, the winner between Iowa and Ohio State is not going to see USC in the Rose Bowl. The Trojans have had at least a piece of the Pac-10 title 7 years in a row. That run is over. Matt Barkley's 3 turnovers today have resulted in 21 Stanford points, and the Cardinal lead 48-21 late in LA.
My goodness.
Can't beat it. Jim Harbaugh done a great job. And, you know, Barkley, what we're just talking about, you can't have the turnovers. And now let's apply that to this game. And what Tressel's looking at right here. You need some plays. You got a ways to go, but you can't force it.
3rd down and 5. Pryor.
Safe throw.
Very safe throw in the flat, and it's not going to get a first down. It's a loss for Herron in the arms of Amari Spivey. And now Kirk Ferentz will use his first timeout with 59 seconds to go.
That is well done by the Iowa defense. Remember we said when you're a great defense, now is the time. They just showed up. And Ferentz does a great job of using the clock to his advantage. You'll get the punt and see what you can do. And this guy, this young freshman quarterback from Keokuk, Iowa, who's, you know, and I noticed on that map, he left his light on. Make a big throw. He's capable of doing it.
Tonight at 8. ABC Saturday Night Football. They have a tough act to follow after this one, but it should be another dandy. Notre Dame with Charlie Weiss perhaps on the ropes, needing a big win, a chance to get it at number 12 Pittsburgh. The Panthers are 8-1, 12 for the BCS this week. Some of you get Texas Tech and 19th ranked Oklahoma State, 2 teams that light up the scoreboard whenever they get together. That's tonight, Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines at 8 on ABC. To find a game in your area, go to ESPN.com, search maps. Colin Sandeman, just coming back from a concussion, has been making fair catches on short punts from John Toma. His last punt was only 31 yards. And this one's not very deep, so short that Sandeman wasn't in position to field it. It took a bad bounce for Ohio State sideways and out of bounds at the 32. Here's Holly.
Well, guys, James Vandenberg has been so steady all night, but after that last touchdown play, he was here on the sidelines talking to his coaches, and he kept belaboring a point of something he did wrong on the touchdown drive. Finally, Coach Eric Campbell, their wide receiver coach, said, look, you're doing okay. Let's move forward. Get on to the next play because he'll have a few big plays left in this game.
And so, Holly, like we just said about the Iowa defense, now it falls on the Ohio State defense and also back on Vandenberg. All the work you've done and your body of work to date means nothing if you don't capitalize now.
They come out conservatively. Well, it's two fine defenses, and the key on offense has been to avoid the big mistake, and that's the way both sides are playing it here in the last possession of regulation for each. I think Kirk Ferentz says, I'd rather take my chances in overtime. They make a colossal mistake here and kick the game away in the final minute. And I think both coaches will be asked about relatively conservative approaches here at the end of regulation after the game, but it is characteristic of each.
He's letting the clock go down. There's 10 seconds left on the play clock.
They're going to decide the Big Ten title and the BCS berth in overtime.
They like their kicker better than they think Ohio State's kicker can do it. That would surprise me a little bit.
5-yard penalty. Remains second down.
Should be 1 second on the clock. We're taking that time off the clock. Remember, they said they were keeping it upstairs. So you want to be a kicker at the high level. Don't worry about it. Not much is on your shoulders. Just the Big Ten title and a Rose Bowl berth, where you won't see USC this year.
So we want to get into the fourth quarter with a chance to win. That's been the formula all year. They take a knee. They'll try to win in overtime. And 8 of their 9 wins, they came from behind. Do they have one more comeback in them? They rallied back from 2 scores down to get even in this one. That kickoff return for a touchdown by Jonathan Koulianos was enormous. Overtime when we come back. Heading for overtime to determine the Big Ten champion and the automatic bid into a BCS bowl game. Let's listen into the coin toss.
All right, as we go to overtime, your choices will be offense, defense, or the end of the field. Here's my coin. This is my head, tail, head. Each team receives 1 timeout per overtime period. We'll have 2 series on that end of the field once we decide. Call.
Heads.
Heads is called. Tails.
Defense. Defense.
Okay. Ohio State chooses defense. We'll play at that end of the field. Ohio State over here. Iowa here.
And that is the typical choice when winning the toss in overtime. You want to go on defense first, because in college football, the overtime rules are that each team is guaranteed 1 possession. They'll start the possessions from the 25-yard line. So if you go on defense first and the other team scores a touchdown, for example, you know when you get the ball for your possession that you need to score a touchdown as well. You know what you need to do. There is no game clock, just the play clock. And if we get to a 3rd overtime and the team scored a touchdown, they must go for 2. That was put in a few years ago to try to avoid the game going on and on and on and adding to the risk of injuries to the players. Aerial coverage of this classic provided by Goodyear. New Goodyear Fuel Max tires help you get there on less gas.
We have gotten spectacular pictures from the blimp. It doesn't get any better than that in terms of pictures, in terms of setting, and right here in terms of game.
It's been a while while since either team's gone to overtime. They've both had a good history in overtime. Iowa's last extra session game was in 2007. They beat Michigan State. Ohio State back in 2004 lost at Northwestern. Vandenberg, a deep rollout by design, lofts it and threw it away.
And good coverage down there by Ohio State. Now, one of the things you remember in this period, starting at the 25-yard line, so everything's shrunk a little bit. It's the red zone basic area. And so angles change, your throws change, the reads a little bit, but there are more defenders in a shorter area.
It's basically red zone football, and
exactly.
That's why some people don't like it. Takes a lot of aspects out of the game. Adam Robinson, the back. Iowa has had a season on the edge. They've won 4 games by 3 points or less for the first time ever. Robinson's in trouble, and that's a huge loss. Spittler made the tackle back at the 31. From there, it's a 48-yard field goal, and that is exactly the career long for Daniel Murray.
And what it is great defensive scheme on that right side or left defensive side. I want you to watch this. Stay square. Come up, Phil. Stay keeping your outside leverage. Spittler just does a phenomenal job. Worthington on the inside, nowhere to cut back, and it sets up a big third down.
Spittler waited 3 years behind James Laurinaitis to get a chance to be a first-time starter as a senior. Play clock down to 4 for Vandenberg. Out of the shotgun. Running out of time, and he is sacked. And they're not in field goal range. Worthington, the senior captain, in his final home game with the biggest play of his career.
And there is the freshman mistake. You cannot take that sack. That just kills you. Now on 4th down, they have to try to go for a first down. But let's not undersell what Doug Worthington does. That is a fantastic play at a critical time.
Couple of senior captains on senior day. Spittler and Worthington with back-to-back huge plays. They need to get to the 15. 4th down and 26. Vandenberg heading toward the end zone, and it is intercepted by Anderson Russell, who wisely takes a knee. So now Ohio State will take over on the 25-yard line, needing only 3 points to win the game, the Big Ten and the BCS bowl bid.
And Sean, that's exactly what we were talking about before we started this. Your body of work to the start of this overtime period as that young freshman quarterback was absolutely sparkling. And right there, Cinderella just turned into a pumpkin.
You think back to Kirk Ferentz with time and timeouts and decent field position across his own 30. He's a disciple of Bill Belichick. He coached for Bill in the NFL with the Browns and Ravens. And you think about Bill Belichick in that Super Bowl with the young rookie quarterback Tom Brady, the big underdog at the end of regulation in a tie game. Some said sit on it, play for overtime. Brady and Belichick went for it, won the Super Bowl. Iowa had a similar circumstance with a new quarterback, positioned to win and pull off a huge upset, did not take the chance. Herron slips down. The offense is in reverse in the overtime. Ballard will get credit for it. And bear in mind that Barclay is the new kicker for Ohio State. This is just his second full game as the starter. He took over in the middle of their game a couple of weeks ago against New Mexico State when Petrie injured his knee.
And don't forget he missed that one earlier in the game. And again, we're talking about defense. Ohio State defense, man, it stepped up big time. And on the first down, the Iowa defense steps up big time.
In a power run formation, and that's what they do with Herron. He's back to the 25, and that's it. And I don't think they're saying boom, his nickname this time. I think they're booing this very conservative approach.
Well, he's going to take a shot here with the kicker. And he's going to try to run it here one more time to get a little bit better position, because right now you're talking about a 42-yard field goal. Anything he gains, obviously, you knock that thing down. So they're going to put it right back on the shoulders of this kicker. And at the least, you just do it all over again.
Well, right now, the ball is right in the middle of the field for Barclay. who as a teenager is one of the top soccer prospects in the United States. Timeout called by Ohio State. Matter of fact, he signed a professional contract with Tampa Bay at age 17, scored 3 goals as a rookie, was thought to be a future star in American soccer, but his career fizzled. He bounced around to 3 other teams, finished his career in 2005 as a bench warmer for the Columbus Crew, was released. The team chaplain for the Crew, Jim Schmidtke, asked him if he'd ever kicked the football. He said, no, not really. They went to a local school. He bombed kick after kick, got instruction from a couple of former Ohio State kickers, wanted to walk on somewhere, thought about a small school. He said, you know what? You got to go somewhere. You might as well go to Ohio State. The chaplain reached out to Coach Tressel, said, bring him in. We'll take a look at him. He walked on, and here he is at his 2nd year in the program, perhaps seconds away from trying one of the biggest kicks in school history.
That's a lot of stuff to hang on that kicker.
And they're going to put it on his foot.
Yep, exactly right.
Perrin to the 22. It'd be about a 39-yard attempt.
And what he's saying here is, look, we're okay. At the worst, if he does miss it, we just start all over again, and at least we have a chance. But now you're saying, all right, kid, let's hope all those talks with the chaplain helped.
For a share of the Big Ten title and a chance to win it outright next week, and a guaranteed spot in a BCS Bowl from 39 yards. Barkley up and good! Certainly heading to the Rose Bowl for the first time since after the 1996 season. Here's Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Tressel told me at halftime this would come down to the last play of the game, and you were right, Coach. What was going through your mind when Barkley, your brand new kicker, trotted out there to kick that?
I was sure hoping he was going to make it, but I was talking to the offense and telling them, if we miss this, we're back on, because it flips the other way in the second overtime. But I had a lot of confidence in him, but you know, you're always thinking a play ahead. Your defense was certainly terrific in that overtime period. How do you describe the play Doug Worthington made? You know, those kids play hard. We have a special group of seniors, and a guy like Doug, 5 years in a row, Big Ten champs. Coach, it wasn't that long ago this program was under some criticism for the loss to Purdue. How do you describe the way your team went from there to securing a part of the Big Ten championship? We're just trying to get better, you know. Thank you. Thanks,
and there were a smattering of boos, folks, but all Jim Tressel's done now is win 5 straight Big Ten titles. It's a win. You know, you might not always like the way they did it, but it's another win for Jim Tressel, who's won over 81% of his games at Ohio State. A valiant effort by Vandenberg and the Hawkeyes, as is their custom. And Barkley, who's overcome a lot in his young life, knew the moment he kicked it. And James Vandenberg will be crushed by the defeat, but he'll look back proudly at what he did today. He gave them a chance when very few thought they had a great shot today.
You know, Sean, Iowa fans are going to go sit back now and think about this game, and they're going to remember the drop touchdown pass at the start and then the missed field goal. Now, Ohio State also missed a field goal, but it comes back to the drop touchdown pass at the front end of the game. That really should have, could have, would have.
We'll also think back about that approach in the final minute when they had the ball in their hand, decent field position, timeouts, a chance to go for the win, decided not to. A great senior day for Doug Worthington and the Buckeyes. They win it. They win at least a share of the Big Ten, a chance to win it outright next week at Michigan. We'll have it for you on ABC. 27-24 the final. A wrap up on ESPN News in moments. Now for Matt Millen, Holly Rowe, and our crew, Sean McDonough. So long from Columbus, Ohio. Let's send you back to the studio.
John Saunders alongside Jesse Palmer here. First, we should point out, for anyone who wasn't watching the game, Rick Stanzi, the starting quarterback of Iowa, was knocked out for the rest of the season, unable to play. Vandenberg, his backup, did not play that poorly until making the mistake in overtime.
I thought James Vandenberg was very impressive in this game. He was so resilient, playing as only a freshman. You have to go back to last week. He steps in for an injured Ricky Stanzi against Northwestern, really struggles. He only completes 33% of his passes in that game, playing in a hostile environment with everything on the line today at the Horseshoe. 20 of 33, 233 yards, 2 touchdown passes. He does throw 3 interceptions. I thought he was able to bounce back from those, but you saw the second overtime was really the dagger for Iowa.
The Ohio State Buckeyes will go on to play in the Rose Bowl, yet to be determined who they'll face in the Pac-10. Want to take you out right now for some bonus coverage in the ACC.